demand refers to responsiveness of demand, responsiveness of demand due to change in price of own commodity. You have studied there are many determinants, many influencing factors of demand. Many influencing factors of demand you have studied. One and two, you have studied the price of the whole commodity and price of the related commodities, income of the consumer, taste and preferences of the consumer. So all influencing factors you have studied. Here, elasticity of demand measures. Elasticity of demand measures. So that means you have studied the influencing factor always influences to change the quantity demand. To change the quantity demand. In the movement of demand, you have seen when consumer choices move along the same demand curve. So point A to point B. So consumer move along the same demand curve, upward to downward or downward to upward. That you have seen in case of the movement of demand. In case of shifts in demand, when demand curve shifts either rightward or leftward, you have seen the consumer's choices shifts either rightward or leftward. So that means quantity demand also accordingly changes. So you have studied, you have known that in quantity demand changes. Quantity demand changes due to what? Due to those influencing factors. And while stating the law of demand, we consider all influencing factors remain same except the price of the own commodity. So that means when price of the own commodity changes, quantity demand of the commodity also changes. Quantity demand of the commodity changes. So that is law of demand. But they change, quantity demand change in opposite direction as the price of the commodity moves. So quantity demand of the commodity changes due to change in price. But how much changes takes place due to change in price? How much price, if you change, how much quantity of the commodity will change? That is measured by elasticity of demand. So the elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness. How much the responsive quantity demand responses, how much quantity demand responses due to change in price of the commodity. Suppose there is a pillar. You want to move that pillar, so you are giving force to that pillar. So how much force if you apply, how much force you need to apply to replace the pillar. So if you can force at certain level, then only this pillar may move, may not move. So you see here, when the price of the commodity changes, quantity demand changes. But how much this quantity demand changes? That is measured by elasticity of demand. So elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness. How much quantity demand responses due to change in price of the commodity. When price of the commodity changes, then quantity demand also changes. But there is opposite direction, is different part. So when price of the commodity changes, quantity demand also changes. But how much quantity demand changes? That is measured by elasticity of demand. So it is responsiveness of quantity demand. Quantity demand responses due to change in price of the commodity. So how much changes takes place due to change in price of the commodity is measured by the elasticity of demand. Next question arises, what are the types of elasticity of demand? Because we have seen there are different influencing factors. Price of the commodity, own price, related price, income of the consumer. Those three are the main points. Along with this, there are also other influencing factors. Taste and preferences of the consumer, then nature of the household, then pattern of the household. So many other factors. Those other factors also influences, but they are the side factors, they are the negligible factors. But main factors are price of the own commodity, price of the related commodities, and income of the consumer. So accordingly, according to the influencing factors, this elasticity of demand is categorized into three heads. One is price elasticity of demand. Here I see price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand. Second one is the income elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand. Third one is the cross elasticity of demand, cross elasticity. Cross elasticity of demand. In case of demand, you have studied price demand, income demand, cross demand. Here also similarly, price elasticity of demand, cross income elasticity of demand, and cross elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity of demand. So if price, since they are this elasticity of demand is categorized into three heads or three types of elasticity of demand. So we need to study now what is price elasticity of demand, how price elasticity of demand is measured, how price elasticity of demand is measured. That means when price of the commodity changes, how quantity demand of the commodity also changes. That has to be studied now.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir,
Yes.
actually, your voice is echoing, so it can't be heard properly. And secondly, we can't see the board at all.
Yes, sir. The board isn't visible
It's
actually.
very far, like we can't understand what you're writing.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I could join so board is visible now.
It is hazy. Board is visible, but whatever you are writing, that is not visible at all.
Sir, a little more closer.
You tell me
Now
that
it is coming.
website is adjusting. You constantly report this whether visible or not. Report now also. Is it
Much better than before, sir. But sometimes it is getting hazy, like network issues are happening.
network issue? Obviously, you are right. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir. Better.
And
No,
sound.
better, but we are not
Yes,
able
sir.
to
Better.
means identify the word letters.
Sound is better now.
Yes, sir. Now it is better. That time we were far, no? It was echoing, sir. Now it is better.
Network that problem what to do nothing. So sometimes now board is also clear.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No sir, yes sir. So that means somebody is having network problem, somebody is not having. So you need to adjust. So now responsiveness of demand. So how quantity demand responses due to change in price is called the price elasticity of demand. We'll discuss now price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand measures responsiveness of quantity demand due to change in its price. Due to change in its price. So here also responsiveness, responsiveness, responsiveness of demand due to change in its own price. But we said that price elasticity of demand or elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of demand. Responsiveness of demand due to change in price. So that responsiveness, how much quantity demand changes, that has to be measured by the elasticity of demand. So since we are discussing price elasticity, there are many ways. Or the methods to measure the price elasticity of demand. Methods to measure the price elasticity of demand. What are those methods? First method is percentage method, or proportionate method. PROR, proportionate method. Percentage method or proportionate method of measuring price elasticity of demand. Second one is ARC method, ARC method of measuring price elasticity of demand. Third is total outlay method, TOTA, total outlay. Total outlay method, and fourth one is point method. So those four methods you have to study in details. So first one is percentage method or proportionate method of measuring price elasticity of demand. Second one is ARC method. Third one is total outlay method, and fourth one is point method. Here in percentage method we'll try to find out how the quantity demand changes due to change in price of the whole commodity through percentage calculation of percentage. Then ARC method, you will find ARC method measures the average elasticity. You have studied two types of demand curve. This is one downward sloping demand curve. Another demand curve also you have studied, convex shaped demand curve. Both are downward sloping. So in case of downward sloping demand curve, this percentage method, total outlay method, point method, everything will be applied. But since this one is convex shaped demand curve, here the difficulty will arise to apply percentage, total outlay or point method. For that, this ARC method will be applicable here. To measure the elasticity of demand. Because here it's a convex shaped demand curve, from here we need to draw one focal chord that will connect two points on the demand curve, convex shaped demand curve, based on the chord, which are called, so that elasticity of demand will be measured. Will come afterwards. So first, let us discuss the percentage method.
Sir, what was the first method?
Percentage method. Percentage or proportionate method. Percentage method. Percentage method measures the change in quantity demand. Percentage method measures the change in quantity demand due to 1% change, 1% change in its own price. What does own price mean? Own price refers here. Suppose quantity demand of sugar, quantity demand of tea leaves, you want to measure. When the price of increases or decreases. But in case of related goods is different part. Quantity demand of tea leaves you are measuring with respect to the price of coffee. Quantity demand of computer you are measuring with respect to the price of price of printer. Quantity demand of printer you are measuring with respect to the price of computer. Is different thing. Here we are measuring own price means quantity demand of computer means change in quantity demand of computer due to change in price of computer itself, not printer. So that is our own price. Price of quantity demand of sugar and price of sugar. Quantity demand of acetylene, price of acetylene. Quantity demand of sugar, price of sugar. Quantity demand of Dettol, price of Dettol. But sugar and Dettol, when we bring in those two commodities together, then we are not discussing the price elasticity of demand. That will be the cross elasticity of demand. So we are not discussing now the cross elasticity. Since we are discussing the price elasticity of demand, same commodity